Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Everyone's eaten, feel full already?
Yes.
Very good. And I love that opening, Shireen. Thank you so much for starting the conversation on superpowers. You all know you have your own superpower, right? Do you know? Who thinks they do not have? You think you do not have? You all have superpowers. You're just not showing it yet. So would you like to show it?
Yes.
Would you like to find out if you have or not?
Yes.
You all have. You definitely have. Okay. Is that somebody familiar?
Yes.
Is he here?
Yes. I think so.
No, he's not here. The brother is here. Yes, I was introduced earlier. I found this picture on Facebook when I went to your page, and I thought that was a very happy face, and I liked it. So okay. Right. So Shireen, thank you so much for your kind introduction. I am happy to be here. Thank you to Samantha for inviting me to share a little bit about strengths. Before tonight, did you all know about the science of strengths? What strengths, character strengths is? Have you heard of strengths before? Not fitness strengths, and not physical strength. Character strengths. No? Okay. Very good. Sorry? Yes, Clifton strengths is also strengths, character strengths, and all the Clifton strengths. What I do is strengths profile, and strengths profile is from a company called Capfinity out of the UK, and there's also the VIA character strengths, which was started by Dr. Martin Seligman, who is known as the father of positive psychology. Now, I mention all of that because all of this I learned when I did my study in positive psychology and well-being, which was in 2016. And that was when I discovered, got such a thing, strengths. So good, huh? I have, you also have, you also have. And if we all know our strengths and can do our work and live our lives utilizing our strengths every day will be a high energy day. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's when I dived deep. I went deeper into the study of strengths. Right. Let's. I'm only sharing with you about 20 minutes, right, Shireen? Yeah. And then after that is Q&A. So let's go through this quickly. The ending is going to be fun because we're going to see something. And is this on? Where do I point it? Where's the? Yeah, it's arrow, right? Okay. All right. I love technology, and technology loves me. Okay. So tonight, very quickly, I will run through what it means to focus on strengths, what it means to have positive feedback, what it means to have a growth mindset, and then there's a strengths profile demo of somebody you know. Would that be fun? You're right. Okay. So focusing on strengths, I think when I was asked to talk on this topic, because this is workplace related, I was asked to talk about strengths based on coming from the angle of teams. And so I thought I would share 3 tips with you on how we can use strengths to build better teams, happier teams, and have increased productivity at work. Is that something interesting?
Yes.
Yes, right. So focusing on strengths first, I have to ask the question, do you know your strengths? And just now, a lot of you didn't put up your hands, so that means you don't know. Right. In the study of strengths, there's one thing that's very fun to do, which is called strength spotting. Right? Strength spotting is when you meet someone or you know someone very well, or even first time meeting, you actually instinctively can detect that person's goodness. And the person's goodness is their strength also. In Strengths Profile, we study 60 different strengths. So what I would like to invite everyone here today, find 2 persons closest to you and just very sincerely say, I see 1 strength each. 2 person, right? So I see Shireen, for example. I have spoken to you a little bit. I see the strength of friendliness in you, right? I also see sincerity, authenticity, so I could go on. But can you all try this strength spotting exercise? If you try it and then you take it forward next time and learn to do it more and more with people that you meet, just spot a strength in the person in front of you. It's a great skill to develop. Want to try? 3 minutes only. Just try. The 2 persons closest to you and share. I see what strength in you. You can do this with strangers immediately. Some strengths are cheerfulness, friendliness, kindness, bravery, persistence, resilience, proactiveness, patience, leadership. Okay. Right. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, ding, 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 come back, come back, come back. Come back, come back. Okay, can I hear 3 strengths that was spoken? Can I hear 3 strengths? What did somebody share with you that they saw a strength in you? What strength? Samantha. You're good at connecting the dots. Yay! Give her a hand. What other strength has been spoken? Sorry? Empathy. Yes, very nice. Empathy. Another one?
Friendly and motherly.
Friendly and motherly. Very nice. And that's stranger first time meeting, right? Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, did you notice, were people sad or was everybody smiling and happy?
Everyone was smiling.
Right? When we see goodness and strength in other people and you hear it from someone sincerely, it makes us feel good. So imagine doing that with your teams. Can do or not? Can, of course you can. And I think this environment is already very positive. So you're probably working on your strengths already. You just didn't know you were. Right? Right. Okay, so that's focusing on strengths. So ladies and gentlemen, at work, in your teams, just play and do this. Look out for the strengths in others and ask them to tell you what they think your strengths are. And the conversations you have will be very meaningful and happy and positive. Okay? Good. Nice. Positive feedback. Who does this? Do you do this at work every day? Give positive feedback. Right. Then my next question is, do you give more positive feedback or do you tell more criticisms? Laughing. Are you watching out for what's not going well or are you watching out for more of what's going well? Sorry? More criticisms. We are Asians. Yes, I accept that. Yes, so I think generally speaking, even when we were going to school, we are so scared of answering wrongly. We are so scared of doing the wrong things and being caught doing wrong things. But let's imagine if we grow up in a school environment where all of us were praised for, wow, you did good. You failed, you fell down, but you got up. You failed in that subject, but you worked hard at it and you are passing now. If we are all looking out for improvements, looking out for things we do well, and complimenting what we notice, giving positive feedback, would that be a good environment to work in?
Yes.
Would your teams be more likely to be brave, to feel safe, to make mistakes and learn, and can they be more productive?
Yes.
Would they be more willing to be creative?
Yes.
Yes. That's all it takes. So easy, right? Yeah. Focus on strengths, positive feedback. Okay, third one. Growth mindset. Who has heard of growth mindset before? Yes. 1, 2. Oh, wonderful. So what's the opposite of growth mindset, for those of you who know? The opposite is fixed mindset. So in positive psychology, Carol Dweck is the master. She wrote a book about growth mindset, and it just means love of learning. Who amongst you, right, when you see a challenge or a jigsaw puzzle or something you don't know how to play piano, but you want to learn, and you go, let me turn on YouTube and see how to learn to play piano. Or just something you don't know how to do but you want to learn and you get excited about it. That shows you have growth mindset. The opposite is what? Fixed mindset. And if you are faced with a challenge, what does a fixed mindset person do?
Resist change.
Resist change. Want to try or not? No. So we are all encouraged to have a growth mindset in our lives. It just means, so very not technical term, just say, have a love of learning. You can learn anything you want. Good or bad is up to you, right?
Yeah.
And when you learn it, is it for you or for somebody else? And if you learn it and you be good at it, and then another person learns something else and be good at it, and everybody is learning different things and being good at it, everybody is performing at peak performance. Would that be a nice team to work with? Easy or not, strengths?
Yeah.
Very easy. And I could talk until tomorrow about it, but I only have 20 minutes. So, actually, this slide is a mistake. I was going to share with you my strengths, but somebody was willing to be vulnerable and very big-hearted to share their strengths profile, and none other than Joel. Give him a big hand. So this is Joel's strengths profile. And in strengths profile, you can all do this. I'll share the website link with you at the end of this. It's just strengthsprofile.com. There's a free profile you can do. And what you get in the free profile is, you find out, does this pointer, no pointer. Okay. The top three green one, the dark green one, is what we call your realized strengths. Realized strengths are things you do, Realized strengths are things you do well, that you enjoy doing, and which you do often, okay? And then the next three are called unrealized strengths. Unrealized strengths are things that you enjoy doing, gives you high energy, but for some reason you are not doing it very often. You're hiding it as a treasure, like a secret. Okay, so for Joel, your drive, your being empathic, and your optimism, you are very shy, not showing. Agree or don't agree? Yes? You don't agree, you don't have to. Okay. So what came out, how Joel answered the 180 questions is his authenticity and moral compass and relationship deepener came out as top, which is something that comes easily to you, and also you enjoy it. It gives you high energy. You never get tired when these strengths come out for you, and you do it very often. Don't have to think about it, right? Okay, so those are realized strengths that comes out all the time. We can see it when somebody talks about, yeah, that's Joel. Agree or not? Okay, so then the unrealized strengths is something that is there. Actually, it gives him energy also, but he's not taking out very much. So the advice is, if you can see under unrealized strengths, is to use more. Please feel free to bring it out and share that with all of us. More. Okay, unrealized strengths.
Excuse me, can I ask you?
Yes.
Knowing the person's strength, what drives him? Would it be values and his beliefs and his mindset more important than knowing his strength?
So all of us will have different beliefs and values, right?
Values and the beliefs are the one that will drive a person, right?
Yes. So it's going to take time to understand what drives a person. So in the study of strengths, we know that those strengths are seen easily. We don't have to go and understand what drives that person, because if that strength is contributing to his service, to making the world a better place, is the premise that I work on, then that's good enough for me. If you contribute your strength, that's your value that you're contributing and your service to the world, that's good enough for me. You do what you're good at, I do what I'm good at, everybody else does what they're good at, and we are all doing good. Right? So that's...
In our ideal world, but we have to multitask in the proper or in our world. Yeah, the Chinese.
Yes, yes.
You have to be very many hats.
That's my next session. So after unrealized strength, the next two are what we call learned behaviors. Now, learned behaviors are things that we do well, but which drain our energy. So I have a strength, one of my top strengths that comes out as a learned behavior is detail. Anybody gives me an essay or any piece of writing, very quickly I can spot the grammar mistakes, typos, etc., etc. Very quickly, it just comes very naturally to me. So I started doing that in school, in uni, and then it got very tiring and boring. It's like, why me? Why me? Go ask somebody else, right? I'm good at it, but it doesn't mean I enjoy it. It drained my battery a lot. So those are what we call learned behaviors. Do you think you have learned behaviors? All of us do. Right? And the recommended action from Strengths Profile is, when you know what is your learned behavior, please delegate. Use only when needed. Orange color. Right? If you have somebody else that has what your learned behavior as their strength, because green color means they don't get tired, please go and do more. So I need to find a friend that is very good in details as a strength, not my learned behavior. Can you help me to check my grammar, please? So that's what we can do, all right? So that's for learned behaviors. And then last but not least, Joel is, weakness is what? Competitive. You are my friend. Mine also. In school, I could not be bothered to be competitive with grades. In business, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also not competitive, which is not very good as an entrepreneur. But I let my husband do all the competitive stuff. So we work together, so that works out fine. Right. And in the study of strengths, in Strengths Profile, we recommend this. We recognize our weaknesses, we accept our weaknesses, but we are not going to focus energy on our weaknesses. Why? Because chances are my weakness is somebody else's strength. Yeah. Right? So, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we are all going to have our own superpowers. our own unique strengths, because everybody has different combinations, right? You do what you're good at. You do what you're good at. I do what I'm good at. And tell me your weakness. If I can help, I'm going to help. Right? And you also help me in my weakness. If we all do what we're good at, honestly, we will all contribute. Individually, we will be stronger, more productive. As a community, we will be stronger, more productive. As a country and the whole world. Everybody, please do more of what you are already good at. Cool? So Joelle, thank you for sharing. And the slide's not moving again. Is it moving? Okay, so we highlighted this. I kind of like went through it already. I should have done the slides just now. All right. I also wanted to show you, in focusing on strengths, in the strengths profile report, you can see things, what I can do. You learn what I can do, and for Joelle, these 3 things is what I can do, right? These 3 categories. The realized strengths, unrealized strengths, and the learned behaviors are all things he can do well. Then you can see what I cannot do is the weakness part. No matter how much you try, you're going to suck at it. So why you want to waste your energy? Because you try and improve your weakness, you're going to go, little bit. But if your strength, you want to perform even better and use more of your strength, your productivity will be, correct or not? So let us use our energy wisely, right? Then, oops. This is what I enjoy doing. So we go through what I can do, 3 categories. What I can't do, 1 category. What I enjoy doing, having more energy in my life, is those 2 categories, the green parts, realized and unrealized strengths. Good for you, Joelle? Now you know what you can do more of every day? Nice. So all of you can do the same. Please go ahead and go to strengthsprofile.com, which is the next slide. And I just wanted to remind you that this is what we've covered tonight. 3 things. How to use strengths for your teams. Focus on your strengths. Identify strength spot. And then positive feedback. And have a growth mindset. Keep on learning. Love your learning. That will be a growth mindset. And this is the free resources page. Feel free to go to strengthsprofile.com. And another one, also free character strengths test, is from viacharacter.org. You guys can have the slides, don't worry. You already have the slides, I sent it to you. Okay? All right, I'll leave you with this, my favorite quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Thank you very much.
Nice sound. Okay. Thank you very much, Hanaa. So I'd like to invite you to have a seat, and we're going to go into a Q&A session. Right, I'm sure all of you enjoyed that talk immensely, and I certainly did. I also certainly liked that demo with Joelle's profile. So now all of you know how to interpret your own profile when you go online and do that test yourself, yeah? So the floor is now open for any Q&A. So at any time that you wish to ask a question to Hanaa, just raise up your hand, and our friendly staff will help to pass your mic, all right? So maybe I'll get the ball rolling. And I'm going to talk about your passion. You're passionate about women empowerment and youth. So how do you see using the strength-based profiling coaching to actually help in women's empowerment? I mean, where do you see that the problem lies, and how do you think that strengths-based profiling for these women can actually help them?
Right, for women empowerment, the first thing why there is women empowerment, there's a need for women empowerment, is because most, I mean, we all grew up in a patriarchal society, so patriarchy is very strong, which means that a lot of women do not feel they have the power to go and achieve the things they want to achieve, and which stems from a lack of confidence. So when we talk about strengths and we help women to identify your strengths and your superpowers, do you think you will feel more powerful? Of course. So when you feel more powerful, then you can go and achieve what you want. You can be the best version of yourselves and contribute your value to the world.
Right. So, wonderful answer. So, women empowerment, about being confident in who you are. So, are there any questions from the audience? If not, I'm going to take the next one. So, okay. Now, all this strengths-based profiling is really, really great. Like, you learn about what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. But when you train someone, when you coach certain corporations and also talk to the individual about their strength, how do you train someone to get better at their strengths, but at the same time avoid the risk of compounding their weaknesses? So for example, with every strength taken to extreme, there can be inherent weaknesses with it. Like, for example, someone who is a good communicator is a bad listener. Someone who is a good leader may not be very inclusive at times.
Not a good follower.
Yeah, not a good follower, for example. So how do you train someone to, yes, be aware of their strength, leverage their strengths, but you also avoid amplifying the weaknesses?
Right. So in the practice of strengths, there's what we call dial up, dial down. So we all hold the remote control of our own strengths, right? And in certain situations, you can bring out that strength even more. And in certain situations, when it's not so appropriate, you need to dial down that strength. So an example would be, I have the strength of authenticity and also moral compass. So moral compass, very similar to Joel. What does having moral compass as a strength mean? It means that in my mind, what is right and wrong is very clear. But my right and wrong may not be your right and wrong, correct? But my moral compass for me is very clear. So as an entrepreneur, when I have to go to, let me neutralize it and not be so political. When I have to go somewhere and meet someone to pitch for work, for a job, to do a program, and this person happens to be NATO, you know, talk a lot, no action, etc. Tin kosong. And so my moral compass is high, right? So it's like, oh my goodness, this person is, why is he talking so much? It's no substance. So this is, my moral compass is happening, the strength is very high, right? And my authenticity, what does authenticity mean? What you see is what you get. Will it show on my face that I'm having these thoughts about this person? As an entrepreneur, is that a good thing? No! Cannot get the job now. So now that I know how to manage my strengths, I use my internal remote control. Okay, Hanaa, authenticity down, moral compass down. What other strengths do I have that I can dial up? So I could dial up my curiosity. Maybe ask him, oh, I see that you just traveled, I see photos here, where did you travel, what did you like about that place, whatever, pretend to be curious. What other strengths could I dial up? I could dial up my empathy. Also, while this person is talking so much, maybe his boss just scolded him or something, and I need to be a little bit more understanding. He needs to release, and he needs to show that he is not stupid, and etc. So I could be a little bit more understanding. It could be anything, right? So I could dial those up. So when we talk about training somebody to not overuse a certain strength or to use wisely the strengths that they have, that is how we do it. You hold the remote control yourself. So know when to dial up, know when to dial down.
Wow, okay, really good. I think that's a really good handle for all of us. Know when to dial up and when to dial down. Now let's look at another really practical example. So when you do strengths-based coaching for teams, right? Many different individuals, very different personalities, very different profile, strengths, makeup as well. Do you notice that certain combination of strengths do not go very well with certain type of combination of strength? So for example, right, okay, let's say my own personal example. I sometimes talk fast. And when I am with someone there are a lot of people who don't talk fast or who actually don't talk very much, or they need to quiet down, think for a while, think for maybe a longer time before one says anything. And so maybe people like me, I don't know whether any of you can relate, it's like, give me an answer quick, like, you know, something like that. So how do you coach or mentor someone to, you know, understand that everyone brings different strengths to the table? It doesn't mean it's just a different way of approaching a problem.
Absolutely. So how do I do it? Let me give you another example, how my husband and I do it. So you have described exactly what happens between my husband and myself. So my top strength over the last, well, since 2016, I've been doing strengths profile test and the BIA as well. What has come out as my number one, like Joel, your realized strengths, your number one is what? Authenticity, right? Mine is incubator. Do you know what that means? Exactly like that. I have to think and think and think and not respond so fast. My husband talks very fast. So in conversation over the last 30 years of marriage, until 2016, when we saw my strengths report, hey, what is this incubator? So interesting. Oh! And then the both of us went, oh. Because so many times when we are having conversations, I just stop and I drift off to space. Then he will say, to Hanaa, to Hanaa. And then it's like, I went, huh? Oh yeah. But after I knew my strengths profile and we both recognized that incubator was a strength of mine, then he is now very empathetic, very understanding, and gives me the space to do my incubating, and he maybe, 30 seconds, 1 minute, and then I go off to space and I'm thinking, right? And then he says, are you incubating? I said, huh? Oh yeah, I get back to you in 1 minute. And that's okay. So that has helped us, so knowing the strengths profile has helped us in our communication. What does it mean for everybody? To me, I think if you know your strengths and you know your strengths profile, it means you can respect each other's strengths and give space.
Yeah, excellent answer. It's about respecting each other, right? I think like how you describe that personality difference, like Chinese cooking. One is stir fry, Chinese stir fry, and one is slow cooker. But the slow cooker is also very good.
Hey, slow cooker means when we incubate, we can think of ideas that you fast talkers cannot think on.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't get clear.
Yeah. And actually, for myself, I think that there's actually a lot of benefit to hold back, to think through before saying anything. So that's what I want to try to do as well, and not just shoot, but be a bit more of an incubator. So I also want to start incubating, right? So okay, now I'm really going to open this to the floor. Anybody has any questions? Okay, cool. Can you please pass the mic to me? Oh, sorry.
You have a question?
Since you have the mic, I'll come back to you soon. Okay.
Sorry, if I heard you correctly, you said that we should avoid some of our weaknesses, stuff that
we acknowledge and we don't need to put energy to improve the weaknesses.
Okay, having said that, are there strengths that, for example, I don't know, but are there strengths that really we all need just to function well in a team, for example? Like, I can't be in a team and have someone who's really disorganized. Do you know what I mean? So, because then it's a problem for the team.
Yes.
So how then do you deal with that? Because the alternative, like with Carol Dweck, she would say that you should be working on improving your weaknesses.
Okay, there's different ways of answering this. What I would say is, let's try to put the right person in the right job. So if you know that person has a weakness in organizing, please don't give them the job of having to organize stuff. And then look at, have them do any of the strengths tests, see what they are good at, and put them in a job where they can totally utilize those strengths every day, never feel tired. You might feel tired because it might be your weakness, right? And then that is putting the right person in the right job, and they are happy and they can perform well. So that's what I would say. So so in a team, recognizing each other's strengths is really, I mean, for me, there's just no other way than maximizing strengths for increased productivity and increased happiness and job satisfaction.
What about self-improvement?
For sure.
Work on your weaknesses,
Yeah. So if you're going to work on your weakness, are you going to use a lot of energy or a little energy? Probably a lot. And are you utilizing your strengths to make the project 1,000 times better? Or are you going to use your energy to go and improve your weakness that's going to improve the project 10% more? What's better for you? What makes you happy? Sorry. I don't mean to be mean.
No, but yeah, thanks for that answer.
Did I answer your did I answer you nicely?
It's just that as a teacher,
Yes.
we teach growth mindset.
Yes.
And we're always saying to the students, if this is what you're poor at, you need to embrace it and just work at it and you will get better. That's the whole idea. That you can never say, oh, just ignore it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I'm kind of like, well, you ignore it and pretend that, then how are you ever going to improve?
Right. So I say this to a lot of my coachees. When I was in school, and if we're bad in any particular subject, what happens? You still have to do it. And what do parents do? Tuition, right? So tuition for the subjects that you're bad in, right? And how much do you improve?
Pass.
A bit or a lot?
Pass.
Just pass. Okay. So if you were good at math, you don't need tuition, right? Does it take a lot of energy to get 100 marks? No. Very easy, right? But you're bad in BM. Okay. Chemistry. I go tuition. Learn. Okay, pass. But for me, as a parent, if my child is great at math, go and do more math. Go and be the next Einstein or whatever, great mathematician. Instead, please, you're bad at chemistry. Okay, never mind chemistry. I don't need you to go and be a scientist. If we all encourage our kids to be genius level at the subjects that they're good in, that's not doable.
That's not how life works.
True. That is not how when I was growing up and I was in school, that's not how it was. So does that mean we follow the system, or as a parent, sorry, I can't speak for teachers because I've never been, only coaching and mentoring. But I really do, I have 2 kids, 30 and 38 now, and they both are very different, and I did encourage them to do any of the subject that they were good in, do more of it. And they loved their school life. And now they're doing work that they love also, because it's utilizing their strengths. And they never feel tired. And every day is a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And that's good enough for me.
Yeah, reality of school life. You have to get A even for subjects you hate.
Exactly. So to me that's a different subject, but there's something very wrong there.
Yeah. So yeah, encourage your kids' strengths and help them to at least pass or even get A for subject.
Thank you for the work that you do as a teacher.
Yeah.
Very admirable. I think it takes so much heart and so much energy to be a teacher.
Yep. They should be paid more, in this
Yes,
country.
yes, yes, very true. Should be paid more.
We have one more question from the audience.
Yes, please.
Hi, Hanaa.
Hi.
My name is Albert Chan.
Hi, Albert.
First of all, I'd like to thank you very much for sharing your views in life. I wish my parents had your kind of growth mindset, and they gave me more praise. It was, if you got 92, they would say like, why didn't you get 100? Things like that. You know what I'm saying? So and so got not 10 A's. Why can't you? Things like that. So our self-esteem and self-image was determined by what kind of your identity also was determined by how well you did compared to who they were comparing you with. Yeah. So thank you. Big applause to you. Thank you very much. Thanks. My question is very simple. I just have 2 questions. One of them, I'm trying to understand the strength profile, but also I was exposed a little bit to the MBTI system.
Yes.
Yeah, there are 16 types of personalities, right? I was exposed to enneagrams. There are about, I think, 9 personalities there, right? There was something similar like psychology, and earlier in my life I took a certification where they taught you about DISC, right? So I'm sure you're well aware. Can you give us a comparison between your strength profile, your MBTI, Myers-Briggs system, and also DISC, that's more behavioral profiling, right?
Correct.
And also, number 2, if I love to play table tennis, but in Malaysia, maybe in our country it's called ping pong.
Yes.
Ping pong. Have you played before?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe you love to play ping pong, right? But then you meet one Chinese guy, from China and from Korea and Japan. They spin the ball, like undercut it and all that. You thought you're good, you love to play ping pong, but every time you play with them, you always lose, but you love it, right? But you haven't developed the competency of playing like that level. So what would be your advice? Thank you very much.
Thank you. So two questions, right? So the first one was comparing the MBTI to the other strengths profiling. Somebody mentioned Gallup and Clifton Strengths. So Clifton Strengths Profile, BIA Character Strengths, and even the DISC are more robust and recognized by psychiatrists, research-based, peer-reviewed, but not the MBTI. So if you look on Google, you will find that the scientific community actually do not recognize the MBTI, but the MBTI is very successful in the corporate world. A lot of Fortune 500 companies use the MBTI. But what psychiatrists are saying, the scientific community is saying that the results from MBTI are not robust. What does that mean? It means that it is not so consistent. If you do it today and you do it 3 months later or 6 months later, every time it will be different. But not so in the ones that we are doing. These ones are scientifically researched, peer-reviewed, and the results are always robust. So that's the answer to your first question. Is that okay?
How about the anagrams?
Which anagrams?
MBTI, anagrams, and DISC.
Okay, I don't know anagrams, but I know DISC.
Anagrams is more like you're born with that kind of personality. You know what I'm saying?
Great. Okay.
Something more nurtured. Some people are extroverts, some people are
Yes. Yes. Some people are more extroverted than others.
Some people are more talkative. Some people are just
Absolutely.
keep quiet. Right?
Absolutely.
So these are your inborn,
Right.
kind of traits.
So the reason I love the study of strengths is because it doesn't matter what our personalities are, we all have strengths. And we all have different combinations of strengths. And again, it goes back to respecting each other, because what you're good at may not be what I'm good at, but I respect you for what you're good at. Because I know what I'm good at, and you may not be so good as me in certain things, but hey, together we can do a lot of good. You come and teach me what you're good at, and I'll come and share with you what I'm good at. And together our productivity will increase, creativity will increase, happiness will increase, joy and job satisfaction will increase. So personality for me is not as important as working together and contributing value together. Is that okay?
Second question.
Second question, what was that again? Remind me.
Okay.
It's about ping pong.
Ping pong.
Yeah, I love to play
Competency. So something that I love, but then suddenly I find out, oh, actually I'm not so good at it. Or keep getting beaten by other people, right? And somebody else is showing me that they are so much better at it. And that's okay, because if you love it, you feel joy in the performing of it.
Let's say I love basketball.
Yeah.
But I'm only 5'2".
Yeah.
But compared to somebody like NBA player, which is 6'2" or 6'4".
Correct. So then we go back to, what do you want to achieve? What is your goal? Does your joy...
Like I want to be a beauty queen, right? But I'm not as beautiful.
Right. So the reality,
I
right?
have elephant legs.
So are you asking me how do we break bad news to people?
Some people, they have this perceived idea of grandiose, like they think they are so beautiful and all that, but actually they're not.
Yeah. So if
Isn't it strength profile can be a bit, you know what I'm saying? It can create an illusion that you're good at something, but in actual fact you are not as good as.
right.
What do you think?
Right. I'm sorry, but I think this is already deviating from strengths profile, because this is probably about natural.
There's a very quick answer to that. Strengths profile does not create anything, so it will not create any illusions of grandiosity at all. Strengths profiling is based on 180 questions that you answer, and the 180 questions is measuring three dimensions.
A good example is like, okay, I feel I'm very empathic, but compared to, let's say, somebody else, that person has more empathy than me. So how do you define empathy? I think I'm very empathy.
That's okay. Whoever thinks you are great at something, you are entitled to think that. Whether it is at the level of the next person's very good level in that area is inconsequential to your life.
So if I think I'm a great lover, but other people think that the real person.
What do you care what other people think? You only care what your wife thinks, lah.
Thanks so much. Great answer, Hannah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, we have no more time for questions, but you can feel free to speak to Hanaa
Yeah,
personally
come find
later.
me.
And so I think, yeah, the gist of it is don't compare with each other. If you have problem doing that, see Joel. He will teach you how not to be competitive. Yeah, we are all on different spectrum of the authenticity or the moral compass grade, but it's okay, you know. Joel will tell you it's okay.
Everybody is a beautiful soul.
Okay, right, so thank you so much, Hanaa. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here with us, and we hope that we get the honor to invite you here again to learn more from you. And you know, I'm sure all of you have really enjoyed this talk. Why don't we give Hanaa a big round of applause? I'm sure all of you want to come